Hyvä joulua.
Welcome to round 13 of Eat the Buckle, the horror movie battle royale podcast that puts two movies in a weekly head-to-head matchup where the loser will remain in the ring another week, and we will be forced to watch it repeatedly until there is one movie left standing in an effort to determine the worst horror movie ever made. This week, in the first matchup of our special Christmas season down, we have 2010's Rare Exports versus 1997's Jack Frost. With me, as always, are my two little Santa's elves, Aaron and Josh. Fellas, happy holidays, happy horror days to you.
And a happy horror days to you.
We're in the season.
It's Honda Horror Days.
So, what kind of elves are we? Are we like the cute pointed hat and like curly booted elves, or are we naked old men running through the Finnish forest elves?
Creased up, dong, Finnish elves.
I'm the kind of elves that makes cookies in a tree trunk.
Oh, I want to be a naked old man elf.
the elves that look like Steely Dan roadies.
Yes.
with their skirted eggshells and their ZZ Top beards. We're of course talking about the elves from Rare Exports, which we'll get into that. But yeah, how's your guys' early holidays going? How you all doing?
Good. It's been a big week for us here. We went live finally as a podcast. Just a peek behind the curtain, we've actually pre-recorded these, so we're about 3 months ahead of schedule. So this week of December 6th, 2024 is when the first episode actually goes live on YouTube. So from the future, hello everyone listening. We hope you enjoyed, and we hope you continue to listen to us.
And hope that you enjoy our Christmas/holiday special. I think we're scheduled to release this in February or end of February, beginning of March.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
A lot of podcasts try to keep their timeline evergreen, so you can't really tell when in the year or when in time they recorded it. But we say fuck that. It's Christmas. We're gonna celebrate it. We've been through the muck and mire of all this trash that the world and Hollywood at large has to offer us, and we're gonna celebrate these Christmas movies, and we're gonna enjoy it. Damn
Absolutely. And in addition to that, we've started our social media presence as a podcast. We'll provide the information at the end of the episode, and links will be provided as well. And we do have an email set up finally, so y'all can email us your complaints, corrections, and Sandy Duncan corner issues, and we will respond in kind in future episodes.
Yeah, and to that point, I had someone, I won't name any names, point out to me this week that we should probably have spoiler alerts for our show. And at first I thought, and this person knows who they are, and I thought at first, who the fuck are you to tell me how to run my show, what to say, what not to say? You know what? Go to heck. But then I thought, no.
And then she said, "Jared, I'm your mother."
But that's fair. It's very fair. So just in perpetuity,
No.
we're gonna spoil these movies.
Yeah. There's no way when you magically find our podcast, because we're not going to be blazed all over YouTube or wherever else we end up posting this. The algorithm is going to push it to you, and then you're going to go, oh, I've never seen either of these movies. I hope they don't spoil it. That's on you, friend, if you do that.
Yes.
That's on you.
So right up top, there will be spoilers. We're sorry.
And if you are listening out of order and don't understand why we're not talking about the same movie or same movie, two movies, that's on you. You just got to go back to week one and we're a serialized podcast Figure it out.
Yeah.
Just
But
Um,
don't
Go
look
ahead.
for us on X. I'm not doing X.
Yeah, we'll be avoiding X and probably Facebook. So if this podcast ever blows up into anything with a fan base, we'll discuss at that point if we start a Discord page or whatever for fans to meet and communicate. But I will never do Facebook or X.
I have been getting letters because I do post a transcript of all of our episodes into the Penny Saver locally. So it's a big page 13 hit with our local Penny Saver.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Normally, if it's an hour and 20-minute episode, it takes up about 30 pages. So, it doesn't save us pennies, but it does entertain people looking to offload a 1997 Chevy Silverado.
I
Do you
guess I
think
should actually start looking at the penny saver. I usually just look for those buy one get one Whopper offers from Burger King. I trash the rest.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, to be fair, you're in it, so you're not missing anything reading the transcript.
do you do you think our penny saver popularity would give us enough clout to book the Civic Center
For a live
down?
show.
Yeah,
Um,
think we could fill the capacity of
the one that we grew up in,
yeah,
no,
down Bridgeport way.
no.
We
Uh,
we could probably fill up the dining area of Iron Horse restaurant on High Street, Morgantown.
There
There's a
you
little
go.
plug.
Hey, this is something I wanted to bring up. It's a cool, weird little story, but I actually wanted to bring it up for our Halloween episode, but it never, you know, our schedules got weird and we kind of had a quite a gap there. And then last week, of course, up top we had the Victor Salva uh discourse. Uh, but did you guys hear about the story? I live in Maine, and it was definitely a local story. I don't know if it went national or not, but there was a story that came out on Halloween about a a man who his daughter disappeared in 1986, and he had since uh found a clairvoyant person to try to like the plot for so many movies to find the missing daughter, and the clairvoyant person like years after meeting them and trying to find this daughter woke up one day and called the man who's now 86. This happened in the 80s, and said, you should look behind the abandoned bowling alley in Jay, the town of Jay, Maine. And so they went and looked, and they found a dead body, a decomposed like bones and shit, but it wasn't his daughter. It was just they haven't identified the remains of this body, and it's fucking wild. Have you guys heard about this?
no.
No, I didn't hear about that, but I've heard a couple true crime cases with clairvoyants involved where yeah, like they actually did like pull shit out of thin air seemingly that was later confirmed to be absolutely true or led to evidence in the case. Like it gets kind of crazy for something that most people say is a completely bullshit hoax. Sometimes these people actually you know, get the shining or whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it.
I don't buy into that stuff. I mean I like to believe in it. I don't, but deep down inside I can't really.
If I was the detective assigned to the case, I would be
Hmm.
going through with a fine-tooth comb that clairvoyance background and
That's exactly what I was thinking. It was like, what did this person do? And
Yeah.
also, I mean, it's really dark to think about, but like, how shitty for that dad just trying to get like closure on the daughter, the missing daughter, and being like, actually being like, holy shit, there's remains here. This has to be it. She was right, and then not actually
Finding somebody
being
else's
like,
body.
yeah. And my first thought would be like, so what did this clairvoyant person know, and how long was she gonna wait to,
Wow.
like,
That's
uh,
wild.
yeah, I mean, completely off topic, but it kind of fits with the podcast because,
That
like I
is
said,
wild.
it is the plot of so many different horror movies. But, um, yeah, it's crazy.
So, Before we get into it, I just had one more thing I wanted to announce. Now that we are social media influencers,
Hmm.
I think it's time that I put my retired from my day job. I'm leaving the podcast and I'm becoming a professional boxer.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm going to enter the world of professional fighting, and I'm calling out George Foreman to be my first opponent.
Which one? Senior,
Yeah,
junior,
a
the third,
senior,
the fourth, the fifth,
senior,
any
of
of them?
course.
All
Yeah,
foremans.
or any of them really, but we'll go with senior.
That's all it takes these days, huh? Is you just got to be popular and then you can just get in the ring and make
Yeah,
$12 million dollars to jump around like a fool.
you
I
just got to be an influencer.
thought you were going to say that you were going to get in the ring with the essence and spirit of Muhammad Ali.
I was really hope. Okay, wrong words there. I used George Foreman before I didn't even look up to see if he was still alive, and
Oh, this one's gonna hurt.
the gag was going to be like I was trying to pick a name of someone deceased so you guys could tell me that, and then I was going to continue the jokes by listing boxers that were no longer alive.
Doing
And
the Sandy Duncan corner.
we'll save that. Of course, I don't mean to put any bad juju on the Foreman family. I guess I should have chosen wisely when I made that joke, or at least done a little research.
So is he alive?
I'll look real quick. I will say yes. I think he took the fat out of so many of those burgers.
Yeah, he should be lean and mean
Mm.
to this day.
So yeah, he's probably very much still alive. Yes, he is still very much alive.
All right, we'll get in the ring, motherfucker, you and me.
You could take him.
He last fought at age 45, I believe.
Wait, how old is he now?
Born in 49, so he's just under the 80. So he's
75.
Well, if you can run the country at that age, you can get in the boxing ring.
85?
70,
I don't know.
75.
Math hurts. I would bet on you, Josh. You
I
got a
would too.
reach. You've got the reach.
I want to be a lightweight champion.
Got the reach around.
Hey,
Oh, all right, folks, let's get into these movies. This is the first time we've had two brand new movies that we haven't talked about in a while. Let's see. The first one is 1997's Jack Frost, written by Jeremy Page and Michael Cooney, directed by Michael Cooney, starring Scott McDonald, Christopher Allport, Stephen Mendel, Eileen Seeley, and the debut of Shannon Elizabeth. It
wait.
was
What about Michael Keaton?
oh shit, did you watch that one?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
wait, there's another one.
Uh-oh. Oh, am I the uh-oh.
No one else has
Uh,
ever made that joke before, so
Straight to video, no theatrical release, no budget that I could find, although I hope it lost every fucking penny. Probably not, because there was a sequel. This movie plot breakdown,
I
a
think
serial
there's two
killer.
sequels.
Oh my God. We're not watching them ever. I will quit. Serial killer named Jack Frost is being transported to his execution during a blizzard. While in transit, the transpo van collides with a truck carrying genetic altering chemicals, causing him to mutate with snow, and gives him powers to transform from liquid to solid in the form of a snowman, so that he can exact revenge on the sheriff that arrested him. Does it get clumsily heavy-handed with science? Yep. Will it eat the buckle? Maybe. Let's find out. Gentlemen off the top rope, what did you think of Jackson Frost? Not all at once. Let's get into it.
uh, go ahead, Josh.
I just the way is the credit sequence at the beginning with those voices. The voice that's supposed to sound, I'm assuming like a little girl, but actually sounds like the voice of like a tiny bunny rabbit in like a Disney film. It's like,
Mhm.
Grandpa, will you tell me a Christmas story?
Josh,
Like,
as I watch this, and I love that it's to this point now, I could just watch it and pick out the things I'm like, oh, he's gonna really hate this. And those voices, I didn't even make a note of it because of like, oh, this will be the first fucking thing he gets into is how
well, and then
they were
after
annoying. You're
they're
right.
very annoying, and then
Hmm.
then the movie opens on, of course, they have to show you who Jack Frost was, so it starts with him being hauled towards his execution in the back of a van, and I'm like, why didn't they just cut the opening credits with all these stupid scenes of them driving through the snow in the prison van? It would have been so much more effective.
Because they needed to pad the timing.
No, it would have been 20 minutes shorter, and I'm sure everyone would have been a lot fucking happier by the time the end credits rolled.
I have to admit on air that I actually own this movie
Oh
as,
no.
What?
as a riff tracks.
Oh, okay,
And,
okay.
and
That's
what's hilarious is I don't think I've ever made it through without falling asleep before this week.
well, I
Like,
got a bone to pick with you, you son of a bitch, because you were in my house last week when we put this on at like 1 in the morning and
yep,
all passed out within 20 minutes.
yes,
So you knew
I knew.
you had an inkling of what you were doing to us when you suggested this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good movie to fall asleep to, even with comedy on top of it. So this will be a good episode just to talk about if someone wants to take a nap, just listen to us yammer on for, half an hour and then pass out. But no, like I have owned this movie for probably 6 years. I don't remember when it came out with Riff Tracks, but I think this is the second time, maybe the third time definitively that I've made it all the way through. Because I even was like, how does it end? And I was,
It
loading it up.
doesn't end.
It doesn't end. That's the secret. We're living it now. It's still on somewhere somehow. But I loved when I loaded it up on Amazon Prime that they'll always have like a couple words to try to like basically keywords to pigeonhole
Yeah.
what type of the movie is as a tag, and it has. And I wanted to put it forth to you guys. Do you agree with this? First one, comedy.
No.
Um,
It is.
I got some chuckles.
All right. Number two, horror. Eh.
I mean by the letter of the law, maybe.
All right.
No.
Now here's the third one, and it's the biggest stretch. Thoughtful.
Well, I've got notes about that.
I don't know
No.
the word. What is the definition of thoughtful that you think sticks to this movie? But
Oh,
but
I
hold on.
okay,
And the
okay.
last one, outrageous.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is
That one,
absolutely outrageous.
yes. I think that's bookended by exactly what the movie is. Horror. I mean, you do see at least a decapitation, so eh. But yeah, and obviously they went to make a comedy with horror in mind in the background, but
But guys, just because
uh,
you set out to make something doesn't make it so.
I chuckled a few times, and
yeah.
I will list those moments. You didn't get a single laugh out of this. You're,
No.
you're dead inside.
You're dead inside.
No.
I actually like the opening credits
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
because
Uh,
Okay.
I've seen them so many times.
I was ambivalent. I found them annoying, but I knew Josh would hate them. I didn't like them. I just let them wash over me and said, let's fucking do this snowman movie.
Look at you in the movie.
That takes
Take me.
place in Snowminton
Snow
County.
Snowminton.
the,
That's funny.
the Snowminton
Oh,
County.
that's hilarious.
And
Snow
that was where I was like, Josh hates this.
I mean, I did laugh at the mutation scene at the beginning when Jack Frost is melting into the snow and then the cop that was transporting him starts shooting at the snow after he's clearly been absorbed by it. Made
But
me
wait,
laugh.
after where it kept cutting back to the cop that was like watching it, and the cop looks like he's just trying to decide what to grab off the salad bar. He's just like making all these like thoughtful expressions and like there that's what makes it thoughtful. He's like looking
Hey,
into the sky and he's like,
hey,
ah, as
hey,
a man is melting to death in front of him.
hey, Josh. Guess what word you just used twice?
Thoughtful.
Uh-huh. It is a thoughtful movie.
It's outrageous.
Um,
The van crash.
yep.
You apparently you
Oh
can
yeah.
you can recreate a van crash on film by just spinning the camera in circles and having your actors hop up and down.
Yeah, let's I want to talk I want to talk about the camera. This thing looked like it was shot from a like Game Boy. I don't know what
Yeah.
technology could be unintentionally made into a camera that somehow
They
ended
sh
up
th
filming
this
this movie.
shot handheld from a Nokia phone.
Uh the the um the town of Snowminton is having its annual snowman competition.
Oh
So
wait, let's back up. I'm
oh,
not done with the accident yet.
Oh, okay, yeah, keep going.
Did you notice? Okay, the only time I actually laughed at this movie,
Uh-huh. Let's
and
hear it.
it wasn't anything intentional. It's just weird, outrageous even. Um, so
Uh-oh.
after the accident, the prison guard is being questioned by like one cop who's got like long dark hair or whatever, and then the main cop who's investigating comes up to take over the questioning, and he taps the other long-haired guy on the shoulder and says, "I'll take it from here." And the other officer just like without even like turning towards him, like turns away from camera and starts walking off, and he just goes, and just like he makes a sound that isn't anything that even closely resembles the English language.
I
And,
didn't notice that.
and that made me laugh. But and I don't
Un
think that was played
Unintentionally.
for laughs.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but that's good.
you
Um,
did
I'll be looking for it next time we watch this piece of shit. I can tell you that much.
you did
maybe.
say Scott McDonald as Jack Frost,
I
right?
did. Yes.
I can definitively say, and this is week 13, and I haven't been keeping track of this, but when I was looking up this man's credits, this
Hmm.
is the person that could definitively tell us what Scott Bakula smells like. Because Scott McDonald has been in every Star Trek series up through Enterprise
As
as
a
as
same character
no Aliens of the Week.
or okay.
And if we do this another week,
Josh is losing his fucking mind right now.
yeah,
You can't hear it because he's silent laughing.
he's crying actually a little bit. If we do this movie another week, I am going to create my own game next week, and
Oh, I
it's
would
gonna
love
be
it if someone else would do that.
it's gonna be
When did anyone ever wonder what Scott Bakula smells like?
well.
To lay eyes on the man is to wonder what he smells like.
Anyway, I'm gonna have a game that involves Scott McDonald and Star Trek next week. If
Okay.
we're doing it next week.
Yeah, it's who knows. We'll know soon enough.
All right, so that's the Rex scene. Moving on.
Well, I think during that scene, it's flashing back to when he gets arrested by the sheriff of Snowminton, and I thought it was weird that he's screaming like, "I'll get my revenge! I'll tear your town apart! I'll tear your town apart one by like." That's a weird thing for someone to say as they're getting carted off to jail.
He,
Is "I'll tear your
He's
town apart."
he was real Mooney intense during that one.
Wouldn't he just be like, "I'll come for you and your family"? Like the entire town's pretty ambitious,
he's
Yeah.
Mr. Frost.
he's an insane murderer that will eat your nose right off your face, as they talk about in the opening credits.
Yeah, true. Okay, so this is what I was gonna say. The town of Snowminton is doing their annual Snowman Festival, and the first, I think, introduction of the sheriff is he comes in and he's like, "The driveway has been plowed." So, and then then it cuts to downtown, and they're all making these huge, elaborate snowmen. Yet there is not a flake of snow on the fucking ground
I
to
have
be
that
seen
noted.
in this entire town throughout the runtime of this movie. There may be like in the background like cotton balls on like a branch of a
Yeah.
bush or something, but like it's,
They filmed
it looks
in
like these snowmen are made of coconut.
All right. They
Is that what it
filmed it in Big Bear, California, and it was in the middle of a drought, and it was like one of the only years that they didn't have a ton of snow.
was?
Like they normally have something.
Good.
Again, doing research on this, it was like something like 58 inches of snow. So when they filmed this, actually back in '93 instead of whenever it was released, '97, um, they had a drought. There was no snow, and they ended up throwing cotton balls and whatever else they could find to throw in front of that. What was the post office or whatever that
Yeah.
your store was? Maybe that was that supposed to be the police precinct?
No, that was
Yeah.
the haberdashery, wasn't it? Where the guy was selling all the ammo and stuff for cheap.
Haberdashery. Who
What
says haberdashery?
it's a good word.
Oh, you're talking
That's the
about
new Sherpa for me.
I. That's what they could have used in the snow. Is just lined out a bunch of Sherpa.
They
They
could
could
have
have
used
white
cotton. They could
Sherpa.
have used anything.
They could have used a bed sheet.
They could have made some effort to make
That
it
would
look
mean
like this.
we're
Or
talking about a movie where the snowman villain doesn't even fucking move. They couldn't even articulate the puppet to move.
mm, mhm,
Oh,
that's true. He
since we
has oven mitt hands, literally.
since we've already talked about the snowman competition, how do the logistics work that the sheriff's son was going to make it in his front yard because his mom thinks Jack Frost is his her son's handiwork? How do you transport a built snowman to the city square?
That's true.
Was, was mom just like, oh, he's getting practice building a life-size
Hmm.
rubber snowman?
I'm I'm beginning to think this movie might not be so thoughtful
Well,
after all.
obviously, this you know where all the snow went? It went to all the snowmen that were being built.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what it was.
yeah.
Uh, the in the family's kitchen in the beginning, the son is making some concoction of
Oh.
brown shit in a bowl, and it made me think of Dippy's dinner from
Yeah.
Mad Men, and I got real sad and wished that I was watching Mad Men instead.
Oh, I've got a point in this where I also have that note.
And he hands, he tries to give his little he called it his oats, which I thought was funny.
Did you
Take
notice
and
the
there's a gag through the movie where no one eats his oats. They keep trying to throw them away, and that comes back in the end. But sorry, Aaron, go ahead.
I would start to overtalk the Chekhov's oatmeal.
Chekhov's oatmeal.
Did you notice I paused it multiple times trying to read the giant yellow jug of stuff next to
Mm,
the stove, and
uh,
it has the term turbo ride on the label. Now,
Turbo Ride,
turbo ride,
Urbo Ride,
turbo, like
Turbo, like
on
Turbo Man,
Is it like
like
oil, like vegetable oil?
I think it might be a sexual lubricant.
Oh,
mm,
Now, of course, the kid later on makes the joke that there's antifreeze in his overnight oats, but it's just like, why? What? I tried to search the
oh
internet for
that
turbo.
wasn't a joke.
Yeah, so I'm like, was there turbo ride antifreeze that I just never found
Hmm.
back in the early '90s? If
the-
someone you know has ever bought turbo ride, please call 1-800-876-5353.
send us your pictures of Turbo Ride.
Yes, please.
Can we agree that the kid is too old to be getting picked up and turned upside down by his mom while he giggles?
I missed that.
I
That was
missed
at
that too.
that was at the end of that scene where he's giving dad his oats.
I
And then
totally
like
missed that.
the sheriff's like, "Okay, I'm going to work. You be a good boy." And his mom like lifts him up like does like a fireman's carry and then spins him around. And he's like giggling as she takes him out of the room. I'm like, that's kind of weird.
I didn't I I didn't see. Did you get a different cut? Did you get the giggle cut?
Yeah,
uh,
the Michael Clooney director's cut.
He's definitely old enough to get bullied by Ryan, who gets decapitated after bullying him in
yeah.
a really wild decapitation scene where the
Real sharp for runners on the sled.
a runner sled kind of just hits him in the side of the head and stops from the first cut, and then it smash cuts to his head flying through the air. It
Yeah,
was
even back in 1990, whatever, when this movie was made, no kids used runner sleds anymore. Those had long been taken over by the plastics safety sleds.
I there was a really one of the big
Sorry,
laughs.
correction. The only kids that used the metal runner sleds were us poor family
That's true. Well, I
children.
didn't I didn't want
Well,
to yeah.
bleep out that last name, but
I didn't want to be like, actually, we did that
we
job, but
definitely
we
did.
definitely did.
I had one. I never had the plastic shit.
Yeah. West Virginians had the real runners. We knew what the fuck was up.
I threw WD-40 on the runners. I never actually sharpened them with with a stone or anything.
Oh
I
no, ours were trusty rusties.
I found my dad's turbo ride and used that on there. Uh
It's right next to a stack of Playgirls.
Playgirls.
Oh, oh no.
Uh-oh.
Uh,
What closet did you find?
I'm done. Let's start over.
Um, there was
oh,
a really sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say in that vein, phrasing. Uh,
Jesus.
the mom shows up with two of the biggest carrots I've ever seen on this earth.
Hmm.
Which she gives him to put the nose on Jack Frost out in the
Mm-hmm.
driveway.
Yep.
Uh, were those real? I mean, I,
Real carrots?
I mean, yeah, like I've
No.
eaten
No.
carrots that
No,
weren't the length of my forearm.
no, that was made to specification for a scene that happens later.
Okay.
But I did because I said I would get to the things that made me laugh, and d after the decapitation scene, that Ryan's dad is who screams throughout the entire uh every
Every scene.
second of screen time he has, he's screaming. But at one point, he's they think the sheriff's son did this because he was getting bullied right before the kid dies. But so his dad is screaming at the sheriff, and the sheriff's like, "There's no way my son killed yours. Yours is 2 feet taller than your kid's 2 feet taller than him." And you can hear someone in the background go, "Not anymore," because he just got his head chopped off. That's a funny joke. Come
I
on.
do like when his head does get chopped off, the kid in the background that's not the sheriff's son goes, "Holy moly!"
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
I really don't. I couldn't stand how all the pure characters like the sheriff and everything like refused to curse through the whole movie. I thought that was just really silly. Like when even before everything happens that we're talking about, when they first discover the first dead body, uh the detective says it's gonna be a gold dog turkey shoot. It's like no one fucking says that. Not in 1993, not ever.
Well, they're just good old
That's
folks from
that's an
Snowminton.
overdub that happens on a you know when a movie's broadcast on ABC on a Friday afternoon or whatever. That doesn't actually no one says that shit.
I actually didn't notice the no cursing thing, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
Oh, it happens throughout the whole thing.
it's a
Hmm.
choice for the sheriff.
Uh, the the mom of the son who gets decapitated. I like that she just doesn't really give a shit. She's and the dad is screaming, and she's just like apologizing to the sheriff, like he's never really acts like this. And then it goes to their death scenes, and she's more upset that her husband tracks water through the house. She's like screaming about it.
So
doesn't
is
care.
that what you got from that? That she didn't give a shit? Because I just didn't understand what was going on with that character. I didn't know she was like mentally ill, or if she was supposed to have been like so traumatized by her son's death that like she was losing it. Like I didn't get where they were going with her.
I think they were basically saying how traumatized she was, and
She was despondent.
disassociating it from it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because she gets ruthlessly slaughtered,
Yeah.
like
I
10
like that.
times,
I
10
like
times
that death
worse
scene.
than her husband did.
Yeah.
And like that's the one that he's the guy that you really want to see get it. And
Hmm.
like within 5 seconds, he just gets axe handle through the throat. He's dead. And she goes through this awful, like drawn out death. And
Yeah.
it's just like,
It
why
was
are we
brutal.
seeing this woman die like this? It doesn't make any sense.
That's
I
where
like
some camera choices, directorial choices.
it's good.
He was really trying to be Sam Raimi there.
He was. He's like smashing her face into the glass ornaments and strangling her, and then it cuts to his a close up of his face, and it's like pulsing closer with the beats of the shitty techno music that was playing. It that was another thing that made me laugh. I love
Oh,
seeing Josh's reaction to me saying, "I found some joy." I'm just trying to mine whatever
God.
ounce of joy I could
I'm just
find from this
worried. I'm just
trash.
worried where this conversation's going to go as we discuss the movie.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Um, everyone in the town is just really mean for people that are so like, golly gee, shucks. Like they're all so mean to each other.
Yep.
Yep.
Like that poor deputy at one point saves the sheriff's wife and she's just like, you stupid, like it's just shitting on him for it. Like
Yep.
we should fix you. Like, I forget
It's
what the exact words were, but she's just like, why are you here in my house? Like I saved you, you dumbass. And she's mean
yeah,
to him.
I've complained about that before in other horror movies, and it's really just like the sign of a weak, shitty script writer. And instead of actually creating thoughtful characters, you just create all these characters that are assholes to each other,
Hmm.
and
It's
it usually doesn't work.
it's thoughtful commentary on real Americana small town life.
Here's what I thought was why this could be a thoughtful movie is when the scientist comes into it and it gets like, there's like a 5 minute scene where he's breaking down the like biological chemical compound or whatever caused him to mutate. And then he's like, you know what this means? It means souls are real. He has a soul. And then they start talking about that. And it's thoughtful. It is a thoughtful
Yeah,
movie.
because we
I
really
would
needed that.
consider that a little outrageous.
So yes, so speaking of the feds that come in to take over the investigation, at one point the main FBI agent or whoever he was supposed to be, I don't think it's ever made clear, he says, "You have a madman loose on your town," and I thought to myself, I wish we were dealing with madman.
Twice we thought we were going to we wish we were dealing with madmen. Let's take a quick break and come back and put a bow on this present, and we'll see you on the flip side.
You were right the first time, Sam. Asshole!
My notes are nearing the end of this movie. I got so sick of hearing that man scream, "I'll find a way."
Yeah.
Oh God. I feel like the last 20 minutes of this movie was just that shitty metal guitar riffing and him screaming one-liners.
Yep.
Or
So just the speed. So they eventually get to a point where the sheriff tells everybody to shelter at home or go to the church to sleep community style, I think he says, which I've never heard before. And so, he says he's not going to arrest people if he sees them out, but he strongly suggests that they don't. And then you cut to the young lady and her
Shannon
boyfriend,
Elizabeth,
Shannon Elizabeth.
who
Uh,
Breaking
uh,
into the sheriff's house to fornicate.
yes.
not just to fornicate, as you
So
put it,
my
you
first question,
from Snowminton, they're fornicating.
fornicating in Snowminton.
Uh,
Um, wait, my first question is, we're supposed to believe these are teenagers, right?
Yes.
So then eventually we watch a scene of a fucking snowman raping a teenager in a bathtub. And
Y-
it's played for comedy.
Yeah,
I
so
I don't mean to be like, I'm not one of those people that's like trying to find fault and throw shit around, but that's fucking gross. Like,
let's
it's a
break it
bad
down
choice.
because this is a crazy scene. For starting with them, as Aaron said, breaking into the sheriff's house, not just to fornicate, but like they drink his liquor. She goes to take, well, they drink his wine, which was champagne,
Yeah.
and then they go. She takes a bath in
Yeah.
their bathtub. There's just like it'd be, and I guess the thing was that she was upset because she thought the sheriff's son killed her brother because the brother of the bully who got get or the sister of the bully that got decapitated. So I guess you could see her being like, "I'm gonna break in and fuck on his kitchen or floor or whatever, just to you know get get back at him or something." But to take a bath and just like take their sweet time
Wait,
and
now you're missing the big part here because before she gets in the bathtub,
oh yeah.
she blow dries her hair.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, I am a shower man. I don't take a lot of baths in my 40 some years of life in this universe. Anywhere does someone blow dry their hair before dunking their whole head in a tub? No,
That's funny. I didn't even
no.
notice that.
Yep.
Uh, you know why I didn't notice it? I was too busy laughing at the gag that happened right before that, where the boy and Shannon Elizabeth and her boyfriend start making out, and they're, getting all horny, and they start taking their clothes off. But the gag is that they have so many layers on that it just keeps showing them like taking.
Oh yeah, that was a gas, wasn't it?
It
Just watching 5 minutes of
was like something.
disrobing.
Oh, it was something out of like Hot Shots or something. It was a good
Yeah,
gag.
yeah.
Come on.
If it was handled correctly, it might have been,
It
but
was funny.
it doesn't
You
matter
just have
because
no joy.
the
Well,
end of the scene, as I said before, what that whole scene builds to is a
Yeah.
teenager getting raped by a fucking snowman
Well,
as Benny Hill music plays.
yeah,
It's
so
disgusting.
it's
Like,
be it's even worse than you're saying because what happens is since he can transform into water and between the snowman and water and take form of water, he tr morphs into the water that's in the bathtub and then it freezes and he becomes the snowman. So it's him and her in this like one
and embrace
solid form of like yeah, like
where
one.
he loses his nose and he uses one of those gigantic prop carrots to have sex with her.
Yeah,
yeah,
so they're basically one entity and she's stuck inside him and he's slamming her against a wall while his carrot wiener is, raping
yeah,
her. And then she dies and it shows and I think he says something very it's so tasteless this fucking movie that I think he says like I hope it was as good for you as it was for me or some bullshit
yeah.
like
Oh,
that.
everything he says from that point on is that scene really just lost me. Like, my eyes glaze over, and the rest of the movie's really kind of a blur because at that point it's just like, I'm so fucking
Well,
done with this piece of shit.
I'll tell you what the rest of the movie is. It's them finding different ways that they think they kill him, like heating him with hair dryers, or I forget what other way they do it, and then they like trap him in the basement with a broiler or something. And it's the I'm telling you, the last 25 minutes of this movie is cheesy guitar solo, him coming back from where they think he's dead and saying one-liners, and then they ultimately kill him by throwing the goop that his son made in the beginning, which is a funny callback because they're like, "What did you put in that?" And he said, "I didn't want you to be cold, Dad. I put antifreeze in it," and that's what ultimately kills him. But it's I don't know. It's a funny gag because no one ate those. They keep throwing away his goo balls, and then turns out there was antifreeze in it, so it would have killed his dad if he had eaten one.
Turbo Shine.
Turbo shine.
Um,
Maybe that's what the turbo shine was the antifreeze that he put in it.
I did find some amusement when they had Actually, I was just like, what the fuck is happening in this scene with the aerosol spray? Where they open up the cabinet and for some reason they just start throwing cans of aerosol spray all over the ground instead of just like handing it to them. Like it
Yeah,
becomes like a wet hot American summer comedy scene where they're just like discarding all the contents of that cabinet onto the floor for no reason.
Outrageous comedy.
outrageous. I think that was the first failed attempt of that they wanted to blow him up. So I think that was the first time they killed him, and then he came back. Then the blow dryers, then the furnace, and then so yeah. This I don't
It
want to talk
really
about this fucking movie anymore.
well, it really feels like the end of this they ran out of script and they just started making things up scene to scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
pop.
every time they called cut, they were like, "Now bring like we used to do when we were in high school. Now bring the camera over here and let's do
Yeah.
this." Like we had no idea what we were doing or where we were
Oh,
going with it.
I think you're giving it too much credit by saying they ran out of script at the end. I think that's just how this was from fucking soup to nuts, man.
Well, I actually, to go back to Josh's thing about the rape scene, from doing the background on this one, that wasn't even in the script. It was just he came formed back into the snowman and then was going to bash her brains in. Now that's of course what they say now when people
Sure. Yeah.
and then they were like, "Oh yeah," so we had to dub those lines in because we were in the editing bay, and we're like, "You know what this looks like, right?" And that's why they had McDonald do the lines like whatever the cheesy Freddy Krueger shit is that they come up with. And I think honestly, yeah, like it probably was originally supposed to be a straight horror movie, and then they just were like, "You know what? We're gonna Freddy Krueger this bitch into the ground."
Yeah. And I mean, I could get into the apex studios of it all, but we we'll probably get into that
I don't
in a
want to
week or
talk
so.
about this
Yeah.
anymore until next week.
Probably
Yeah.
next week.
I think we've pretty much done the deep dive, and now we can get into the nitty-gritty when need be. Okay, so I guess I got nothing more to say about this for now.
Well, I got a lot to say, but we'll hold off.
Yeah, I got some questions I want answered next week, so I assume.
That we can answer or for the
Well,
universe.
I mean, a little bit of both.
I might do some emailing.
Oh yeah, I still have not heard back from the director of the gate about the dog. Just so you know, I did email him again. I don't think he wants to talk to me.
That's an old throwback. Was that 5 weeks ago?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the people are on pins and needles wondering how that search is going. All right. Should we get into the next movie?
Yeah. Oh,
All
no,
right.
wait. Do we have no fun and games?
Oh shit. Yeah, fun and games. Oh, thanks, Josh.
I was worried there for a minute.
Yeah. Hey, you guys want to play a game?
Yeah, I do.
Sure.
This game is called Surveys Dead.
Uh-huh.
Surveys Dead.
Yep. Yeah.
Playing to an audience of one, and he's my co-host.
I love these.
I got three topics here, and you guys, you know how it works. The first topic, top 7 Christmas horror films. This is according to a 2024 article from Screen Rant. The top 7 answers are on the board. Each one of you will take turns guessing until you get 3 X's, like in Family Feud. Surveys dead. So top seven Christmas horror films ratings.
How am
According to Screen
How am I
Rant.
slapping in before Josh here?
No, you'll take turns. Go ahead, Aaron. You first.
Black Christmas.
Surveys dead. Number 1 answer: Black Christmas.
Wait,
All right.
wait, is this
Josh,
like? I need to know how recent this research was.
2023 Screen Rant article.
20. Okay.
Josh, go ahead. Number 1 answers off the board.
Krampus.
Surveys dead. Number 4 answer.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Let's do. Yeah, let's be a family. It's the holiday season. There's no loser. It's
All right, yeah.
we
So
have
you each get 3. When you each combine, get 3
we
X's,
just
and we'll see
yeah
how you do.
yeah. I that's more in the spirit of the thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, Black Christmas remake from the 20 whatever 16.
Good answer. Good answer.
Surveys dead.
No, I just wanted to hear the noise.
Josh, go ahead.
Oh Lord, it depends. Gremlins.
Oh, of course.
Surveys dead. Number 3.
Man, what's a Christmas horror that rated higher than Gremlins?
Go ahead, Aaron. You got 1 X.
I
You
know.
still got number 7, 6, 5, and 2 on the board.
Are we counting Die Hard as a Christmas movie?
I will say
Oh wait,
two
this is horror. Because
horror, yeah, Christmas horror films.
Well, Die Hard's a horror movie too.
is it outrageous and thoughtful?
2 of these I've never heard of or seen, just so you know. So you probably won't get them. But
Well,
not saying that if I haven't heard of them, you haven't. But like,
Why to bother having a horror podcast if you never?
but it could give us some fodder for next. Anyway, Aaron, go ahead.
Black Christmas 2005.
Surveys dead.
No, I could have told you.
I
that
was
one, not
joking.
for
I
him.
was joking. That wasn't a real one.
Oh wait, no, that was a guess because I already did the noise, and now you were fishing for.
Oh no, we got
information.
We got 2 X's.
Yeah.
2 X's.
Did you said you had not heard of the other 2?
He had not heard
Well,
of
there's 4 left. 2 of them I haven't heard of or seen.
Oh, okay. Out of 4.
Yeah,
And
there's-
are we talking original ratings or what they're rated now? Like, where are these ratings from?
I have no idea. This is just from Screen Rant.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Surveys dead.
Oh,
Guys did not fill the board. Number 7, survey says I Trapped the Devil from 2019.
Never
Number
heard of
6, that's one I hadn't heard of. Deadly Games, number 6 from 1989.
never heard
Never,
of it.
Yes,
number 5.
watch that.
Did we? Oh boy.
Joe Bob.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't,
Num-
I don't-
Christmas Evil, I bet's on there.
Nope. Number 5 is Better Watch Out, which I have seen on Shudder.
That's a fun one.
It's fun. Number 2, Rare Exports.
Oh, good God. What's wrong with us?
All right, your
I
next next question from Box Office Mojo. Top 5 answers on the board. Highest grossing horror movies. Christmas horror movies. Highest grossing Christmas horror movies.
I'll
We'll
go
start. Yeah,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
assume some of these repeat.
Yes, it's got to be Gremlins.
Surveys dead. Number 1 answer.
Good luck.
Gremlins.
Very
No.
good. Krampus has to be on there.
Is that an answer?
Yes.
Surveys dead. Yep, number 4.
That little pause scared me.
Leaves 2, 3, and 5 on the board. No X's yet.
Silent Night. No, not Silent Night. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Survey says no.
Yeah, I need to hear the X.
Yeah, come on. You gotta commit to the bit here.
No one wants to hear me say survey's dead like that for them.
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Get to the bit, Jared.
Okay. All right. Survey's dead.
Thanks for playing catch up. Good Lord, this is getting hard.
2, 3, and 5 on the board.
We're talking box office.
Box office.
Black Christmas, I guess, would have to be on there.
And here's a hint maybe. This is like as of this week.
As of this week. Oh, but it's got to be a Christmas horror.
Mm-hmm.
So Red One doesn't count.
No. If
Does
that's your
Die
guess,
Hard? No,
is
it's
that your
not.
guess?
No. Yeah, let's go with Black Christmas.
I need a year. Judges,
1975.
More specific. Survey's dead.
Or
Wow.
whenever that came out. I don't think it came out in 75.
Well, it's not the 70s
Not the
one.
first one.
Okay.
All right. Well, there he's giving you.
Yep.
Steve
got
Harvey leading.
2 X's.
Steve Harvey's leading the witness, and I will say Black Christmas 2015, 16, whatever that one came out.
The one with what's her name? Imogen Poops.
If it's the better of the two remakes, yeah.
Well, that's you're saying the most recent one?
The 2006 one.
No, the
The good one, you're saying.
No, I want to say
Oh.
the latest one.
The Me Too one.
Yeah.
Survey's dead. That's your
Oh.
third X. You don't get any more guesses. It was the 2006 one. The judges needed more specific. Number 2, Nightmare Before Christmas, which I don't really agree with that.
That's not a
Not horror.
Number 3, Terrifier 3, which is why I
Fuck
said it's
you,
up to date to the
Terrifier.
week. And number 5, Black Christmas 2006. We don't have to do the third category because we're running long, I think, unless
Who
you guys want to
cares?
do it.
What is it? And then I'll say yes or no.
The worst rated Christmas horror movies. The shittiest Christmas horror movies.
Why not?
I mean, isn't that what we're here for?
All right. Top 7 answers on the board.
Let's just do top 3 answers.
Well, I mean, it's whichever ones you're not going to get them. Just go.
Black Christmas 2015, 2016.
Survey's dead. Josh.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Survey's dead.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Survey's dead. Number 7.
Oh.
This is according to What Culture magazine.
What?
By the way,
What?
it was hard to find these.
What AI shit did you?
No, all right. You got 2 X's. You got
Is
the
this,
number
is
7
this the
answer.
same website that called Madman the number 29 on the top 25 best slasher
No,
movies?
I would
That was complex.
I would trust this one more.
Does Madman count as a holiday horror movie?
Thanksgiving, yeah.
Oh, okay. We're not counting as Christmas.
No.
What about
Jack Frost.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 6?
Hold on. Who just said part 2 and was right?
I was.
Aaron? All right, so
Yeah.
it's Josh. What are you going with?
Jack Frost.
Survey's dead. 5. You're still alive. You got 2 X's and 5 answers on the board.
Did we do the top one yet? That's how goldfish
No.
my brain is right
And I'm going to tell you right now, you're not getting any of these. So just say something.
now.
Maybe you get one of them.
Is the TV movie from NBC Something Is Out There? Is that at Christmas? Let's say that Something Is Out There.
Survey's dead.
More sci-fi.
The ones you did not get. Number 6, To All a Good Night. Never seen it or heard of it. From 1986. Number 4, Santa's Sleigh. Number 3, Nixon and Hogan Smoke Christmas. Number 2, Elves. And number 1, Bikini Bloodbath Christmas. And that was Survey's dead.
So
Thank you for playing.
I almost gave some spoilers away.
Don't spoil nothing. All right, let's get into rare exports. This was released December 3rd. Theatrically, it's a Finnish from Finland movie. It was released theatrically in the States on December 3rd, right alongside a movie called Black Swan, which I think went on to win a bunch of Oscars. This ate the buckle in the box office. Budget of no, it didn't. Sorry, budget of 1.8 million euros, which translates to 3,851,000 US dollars, and it made 4 million worldwide. So it did all right.
Just barely in the black.
No, wait.
Barely in the black.
The gross US was $236,000.
Right, but worldwide it made 4 million.
The opening weekend was $9,200.
Oh man.
In the US.
I think it made nearly all of it in Finland. But
it deserves every red sin it made.
this was written by, God, forgive me for all of these mispronunciations.
From where we're from, English is almost like our second language anyway. Hillbilly is number one, so it's not going to be our strong point.
Jalmari Helander, Juso Helander, Petri Jokeranta, written by, directed by Jalmari Helander, starring Jorma Tamila, Oni Tamila. Those were the father and son. They're actually father and son in real life.
Yep.
That's cool.
Oh, how cute.
Peter Jacobi, Tommy Coparella, Rona Joviana. This is the breakdown for this in the Cuvatinatary Covantatory Mountains.
Come on. It's kind of like it's like pronouncing Indian. Just
Corvatinturi Mountains. I swear I do not mean any no disrespect, but I'm an idiot and I don't know these.
Watch more hockey and you'll be able to.
Corvatinturi Mountains, which border Finland and Russia, an American team is hired to drill into the mountain in order to reveal what is believed to be a burial mound in hopes of plundering the riches within by the man who hired them. The resulting fallout wreaks havoc on a small Finnish village below. Are there reindeer? Yep. Will it eat the buckle? Maybe. Hey, let's find out. What'd you guys think of Rare Exports? I was delighted for the first time in a long time that I can say this movie fucking rules.
Who actually put this up?
Me.
So you've never seen this?
I'd never seen it, no.
How did you never see it? Because I was upset when I heard this was on the list. Because I was like, this is actually like up there with Event Horizon, a good movie.
Yeah, no. But I don't know. It's just I'd always wanted to see it, and I figured I'd be watching a lot of garbage, so I figured I'd throw us a bone. Why not? You know, you got to have the low, and the high into the spectrum on these things, these competitions.
I appreciate it because as I texted you guys when I was finished watching it, I was like, that was just a real nice breath of fresh air. This movie it's just lovely.
Yeah, this movie was cool as hell. I loved watching it. I don't know.
I will say the not the main child who I would have my own minor grievances with, but his buddy, is it Uso? Is that how he?
I have no idea.
He's
clearly I don't know.
Yeah, Uso.
He really gives Brad Dorff a run for his money in the annoying child category.
The one with the mullet?
Yeah, the one with the ugly, nasty mullet. And yeah.
You were probably supposed to be a little annoyed by him. He was naughty.
Yeah,
it was
I guess
naughty.
that was the point. But man, just from the word go, I was like, I really don't want to have to deal with this kid for the entire runtime of this movie. And luckily, you don't. He's not in it that much, which was good.
Santa sees to that.
The
sorry
hairstyles of the children,
yeah,
a little behind the times because I was like, is this a period piece?
And yeah, I had trouble.
That's just what
gauging.
I don't know. I mean, you see that hairstyle all over the place if you walk into a Starbucks.
That's true. It's either mullet or fucking broccoli hair. And don't get me started on broccoli hair. I've always had this thought when I watch a foreign language film, and I wonder if you guys think this too, but it's always refreshing because I'm like, I can't tell if they're bad actors or not. It's hard to tell when it's a foreign language if they're bad actors, and like doesn't matter what language it is. I'm like, oh, everyone in this is good, even the kids. But I wonder if if you were Finnish or Russian or whatever the language, because I think it's a little bit of both. I wonder if you could tell.
I think I could tell that the adult actors of this were fucking incredible. Like they were just off the charts.
Yeah.
The dude that plays Imo, who is Yusi's dad, or Yuso's dad, looked like if you had a transporter accident with William Dafoe and who was the other guy? What's his name? His name's slipping my mind. Guy that played Beauty and the Beast. Was it Newton Cron?
Leland.
No. What the guy with the face?
Scott McDonald.
Ron Perlman. Thank you.
Ron Perl. Yeah, he did look a little Perlman-ish.
Ash, Ron Perlman, and William Dafoe together. You get that actor.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed Finnish Jeffrey Lebowski.
That's Erica called him the Sobchak. The foil to Jeffrey Lebowski. So that's funny. You guys both thought that.
Who almost never takes his sunglasses off in the middle of night, even
Mhm.
while piloting a helicopter.
He was awesome. I was just it was 2014 this movie came out and it looked incredible. Like
And
2010.
2010
But
and it
still,
looks
yeah.
absolutely incredible, especially for a movie that cost $1 million to make or $3 million to make.
$1 million.
I was just
yeah.
blown away by not only like how great the camera work was, but how the film quality was good.
Mhm.
I don't know, just the scenery, all the snowy backgrounds and the mountains and everything. Like, it was just it's so good. I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, it kicked off the show ho down, I think, really well, setting the high mark, and then maybe possibly the low mark after was quite a huge dive. But yeah, so the there's really not much of a plot. The people are digging into the mountain, and it turns out they realize that it's Santa, who in this movie that they're evil Santas. Is that the history of these Santas? Is that a real thing?
Yes.
I know there's like Krampus and shit like that, but like
I
these
do
demon
believe
Santas.
the Finnish Santa doesn't bring anything to good children. He just goes after the bad children.
well,
That's cool as hell.
what? Say the name of the mountain again. I want to hear it.
Oh, I put my notes away, but I want to say it's Kura Naturi.
The Korva Taturi Mountain
That was close.
and region is where Santa Claus is from.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
I thought he was from the North Pole.
No. Like historically, that's where we get
Whitewashing my Christmas.
You tell me everything Coca-Cola taught me is bullshit.
Yeah.
Stop whitewashing my Christmas.
I mean, the one thing is, you first think it's Santa Claus because they want you to be like, oh, of course, because Santa Claus is just an old guy.
Yeah.
And then, like, no, Santa's not out here hanging dong. It's all the elves.
That was such a great reveal, though, man. When he's
Yeah.
like, this is one of his elves. You're like,
Yeah.
of course.
So-
like, that's so awesome.
So I guess to get to that there's a little village underneath the mountain, and they're reindeer hunters, and they discover that all the reindeer are dead, and they think it's wolves. So they set a trap, like a pit in the ground with spikes, and they go to check it because they lay a ham out to attract the wolves, and the ham's gone. And they go to check it, and they find a human in there, and it turns out, like I said earlier, it looks like a Fleetwood Mac roadie or whatever, and and you think that this is Santa, like Josh was saying, but then it turns
Looks
out
like the guy who's waiting for AC/DC to tour again.
Yeah.
So they have him kind of tied up, and he ends up attacking them, and it's revealed that he's one of the elves, and then you realize that there's an army of these elves, and they're protecting Santa, who's this gigantic fucking being in this block of ice that they've unearthed.
That
and
made
it's
an artistic license. I don't remember Santa supposedly being 15 feet tall.
Right, which is my biggest complaint of this movie is I really wanted to see Santa. I wanted to see what their vision of Santa would be. You can tell from there's like horns protruding from the block of ice, these huge like curly horns, so you know he's going to be this crazy looking beast, but we don't get to see that. That kind of bummed me out.
Well,
Other than that, that's
but
my
it was
only
also
complaint.
kind of cool that he was almost presented as like this elder god, like this Lovecraftian like, I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that because it was like you don't want to see him loose because there's no way to stop him.
Yeah. But that's kind of where I was hoping it was going, was that Santa would thaw out and just fucking demolish the American and British team that was unearthed him, basically.
So if we could back up a bit, something that made me laugh so hard. Um, when they wake up Christmas morning and they find the elf in the trap, and the whole thing really kind of kicks into gear, and the craziness starts. When they go to find the sheriff, I guess you would call him, or whoever, that old
Yeah,
man.
the constable.
And the main kid is trying to tell him that Uso's disappeared. And he's like, he's probably out chasing girls. And he's like, when I was your age, and he goes on to describe how they would fuck pillows. I
Yeah,
just laughed so
yeah,
hard at that. He's like motioning, stacking pillows, and then like doing the humping thrust. It's
yeah,
like, this is awesome.
Now,
yeah.
just watch that today. I don't remember that.
Oh, really?
I,
I watched it last night. I got a chuckle. It's actually a pretty bleak movie, but that was a rare like moment of
Because
levity.
this is horror comedy done right. It's not a comedy, but there is some genuine laughs in it. Like,
Yeah.
again, so they take the elf into the garage, and Finnish Lebowski is left to deal with him, and the elf bites his ear off. And when the other characters get back to the garage, he's just standing outside, dabbing at the side of his head, and he's
Yeah.
missing his entire ear. I was just like, I got such a kick out of that. And he's
I
calm
just
as can be.
I just put it together in my head that Walter Sobchak gets, or no, he bites someone's ear off, and
yes.
then
Yeah.
okay, and then
Yeah.
this guy gets it. And did you think they made him kind of look like McCready from The Thing?
I think he was trying to look
Yeah,
like
and he's also
McCready.
he's also a helicopter pilot in the movie. Like I wonder if that was a nod to, and the whole movie's snowy, and there's the
In the character's
some
mind, he looks just like McCreary. But
yeah.
I think um I liked I watched, like I said, the movie today, and I remember this being an issue, not an issue, but a thing that came up when my wife and I watched it, I think the first time, was there are no women in this movie except maybe two at the reindeer roundup.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then you never see a wife or a female child ever
No.
again.
Nope.
No, you don't. And I think again though, it kind of draws, because I did think of the thing quite a lot when I was watching this, as like it kind of draws parallels to the thing with like
Yeah.
just all these these dudes taking on a
I mean,
force from beyond.
life on the Finnish Russo border looks pretty fucking bleak.
It does.
Yeah. And so I guess, to give as good as you get, that I do have more than just the one complaint. It never really went where I wanted it to go with like the horror aspect of it. It really wasn't a horror movie. I mean, it had
Is. It
elements
most
of it.
certainly
It
is.
was,
I mean, there's dolls
Jared.
were creepy.
yeah. I mean,
You watch people die when.
sure, but
By the way,
it
on the rules, I didn't
the
go to the
rules,
internet. I did not go to the internet in 2024. I sat there and kept pausing and doing it in slow motion or at half speed, and finally to like through two scenes to make sure I wrote down all the rules. Then later, before we were doing production meeting or anything, I looked it up, and of course there's a poster you can buy that have the rules.
Oh, nice.
But just because I did the due diligence, it's no drinking, no smoking, no cursing, no loitering, no cavorting, no arguing. And the guy says, wash behind your ears, which is not on the paper.
Yeah, so the guy who hired the team of Americans and British people to come and excavate the mountain, he knew that it was Santa.
Yes.
So what was his end game? I
To
didn't really get what
Wanted
was in
to-
it for him.
He's wanting to unleash Santa Claus. It's kind of like Halloween 3 with the druids.
Yeah.
With
I
the
get it.
Oh,
Irish.
see, I thought he wanted. I thought he wanted Santa Claus frozen as like a relic.
No, he wanted to release because he knew how, like, to your point about that Eldritch horror thing, he wanted to unleash Santa Claus.
So he was just an
Oh.
evil bastard.
That's the only reason why I can think why there were Americans and British people supposedly played by not British and American people in
Yeah.
Russia.
So that makes
The
it
other side
even
of the
more
wall.
like an Indiana Jones villain than I saw him but beforehand.
And
Yeah.
that was one of my uh negatives of this is it didn't really make it clear what his motives were. He just was kind of like, presented the rules of like don't do this till you're die. But why would he care if he's essentially just gonna
He knew. He knew the
unleash
rules,
Santa?
and he knew where it was. So he had bad motivations.
He
Yeah.
told you the rules.
Did you guys watch any of the initial short movies that they made in 2003 and 2005 for this?
No, huh?
Oh, they're pretty good.
I will. I mean, I'm definitely intrigued. I need to watch more by this director because this was a fantastically
He did
shot
do.
film.
All the people that are in this are in Sisu.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's the same director.
I've wanted to see that. Then I will absolutely watch that.
My biggest complaint again, like, it's going to come across on this podcast that I have a serious dislike of children, but we'll take a quick break and I'll get to that point when we get
Wow,
back.
what a cliffhanger! Why do you hate children of all shapes and sizes?
I don't. I say it's going to come across that way.
We'll be back.
Hey! Fucker's a snowman!
All right, so choose my words carefully here.
Nah, shoot from the hip.
No, so my issue isn't with children, it's with it's with the child actors they cast in horror movies usually, or the way that they're directed to play their characters. And my issue I had with this particular child who was one of the main stars, I think was more in the way they told him to portray him. He's like mugging throughout the whole movie like he's Bruce Willis with a hangover in 12 Monkeys. He's just always making like this face and he's like, ugh, like he's so over the whole thing.
The main kid?
Yeah. And like, I don't know if they did it that way because he is supposed to appear wise beyond his years, and that's why he figures the whole thing out at the end, like the whole master plan. But he just kind of came across as too much throughout the movie, as to where I said like the adult actors are killing it. They seem to know what movie they're in, and they're all playing it to the nines. And this kid is just he just doesn't work for me in the movie, and his performance just really kind of annoyed me and detracted from the movie as a whole.
Well,
Honestly, it didn't bother me at all.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it was kind of like what the movie was supposed to be, in the sense that like the kid had read. Where did he get all the books, by the way?
Just stacks of Santa books.
It didn't look like the library was just down the street.
Sure. and again, like I'm not saying it's the child actor's fault. Maybe it was the way they told him to play it. I just feel like whatever choice was made, whether it was by the director or him, it was just the wrong choice, and they stuck to it.
Well,
I think he's supposed to be there to just like to be the Ash or the
yeah, he's like on guard the whole time. He's the one who knows what's going on and like has his shoulder pads and helmet on the whole time because
that was like hilarious.
He's
I
ready
love
for
the cardboard over his butt.
Yeah.
It's just, and I get that. I'm agreeing with you guys on that. I'm just something about the performance didn't click with me personally.
You have a thing against
you hate kids. And that's fine. I do too. I do too. It's okay to say it.
I like the kid.
Yeah, I thought he was great.
I liked how like all of the Josh hated. I liked how he was there to be the kind of like this. I guess more like the straight man actually in the whole thing because like to me the parents came off or of all the dads especially since there were no women came off as like kind of like what you said like the Big Lebowski like they're like three Stooges level of slapstick to me.
Mhm.
And I'm not a finished speaker, so I'm just, that's what was coming through for me. So I don't know. I actually was more concerned after the whole Victor Salvo weekend or episode that we had, that when they showed that poor kid in his underwear a lot in the first 90 seconds that you're introduced to him, I was like, are we gonna have to go through this bullshit again?
Oh boy.
Are we gonna have to pull Sandy Duncan?
And I did research because I was like, all right,
You had to make sure.
I know for sure Victor Salva, convicted sex offender, is a convicted sex offender. But I wanted to make sure the guys involved with this one, the Helander brothers, weren't involved in anything. And again, I think that's another thing where it's a difference between cultures, in the sense that, like, if you had gone to the theaters and had never seen this and were like, oh, cool, it's a Finnish horror movie about Christmas. And then, I don't know, 40 minutes into it, there's a bunch of dicks flopping in the cold. Like, what the fuck? But it was just a normal thing since
Mhm.
from the.
And for some reason, none of that bothered me. I just was like, okay, it's a kid in his underwear because he just got out of bed. It was nowhere near as egregious as the last film we talked about, where a snowman's literally fucking a teenage girl with a carrot to death.
Yeah,
Ew.
that's rough.
Yeah. I didn't get the whole thing at the very end where they blow Santa up, and I guess essentially that kind of um his magical hold on the elves disappears, and so they're no longer enslaved to him. And so the the people of this village take them, and what are they doing with them?
They're
That's the
training
rare
them to be Santa Clauses for other countries.
That is the rare export, which
But
ties back, like, the only thing that this region is known for is the birthplace of Santa Claus.
So
So
they're
they're
selling
exporting.
them?
Yeah, they're exporting real Santa Claus, which goes back to the shorts, where the shorts, if you've never seen them, it plays off as if it's like you're watching a documentary, like
Mm.
Omaha, like Animal Kingdom type shit,
Mhm.
where you're following the three leads from this movie that aren't children on how they hunt down. And now in this case, they can just call it Father Christmas, and it's just one guy that kind of is a larger man who is naked, that they shoot tranquilizers in, and then they show him training him to be Santa and
Oh,
sort him out.
And
okay.
And then the sequel short film is where they go through the whole process of rehabilitation to get them ready for transport.
I see.
And bring up the list, the naughty list of things that you can't do.
Yeah. I would definitely want to check those out. I'm a fan of this. I mean, for the few faults that I found in it, it was overall a very satisfying viewing. I enjoyed
It
it.
really is. I think it was a blast. I love the way it ended with them training all the Santa Clauses. I thought that was a really funny way to end it.
I gathered that they were training them to be Santa with like the dolls and everything, but I just didn't get what they were shipping them out to do, or if they were like what that all came to.
Yeah.
What, $16.8 million from doing all that?
And
There
yeah.
were like 130. I did just watch this, so that's why I'm. But yeah, like Yusa was over there going like, all right, it's 85,000 times however many 138, and then it came up with like 16.8.
I thought it was like 68 or something like that.
It might have been even more. I liked at the end where, of course, the dads cut the horns off Santa Claus.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I was like, Finland, West Virginia,
That was like not included in any part of the plans. You just see him. Made me laugh.
if you were really from that area, that is exactly what they would have done. Chop those off and hang them up somewhere.
Yep. Put them on the back of your truck.
I really enjoyed this movie, even for my small gripes. It's a lot of fun. I do agree with Jared. Like, it never quite went as dark as I wanted it to. And I think if maybe they had even double the budget that they actually did, we would have saw a darker, more violent movie. But for what they had, they made a great little story, and
Hmm.
it was very entertaining.
Yeah, yeah.
Your first time on this movie too?
We watched it years ago after a one of the Athens Brew festivals, and I was not in a frame of mind to remember much of it.
Okay. Because I feel like I mean, I haven't had Netflix for years, but when this came out on Netflix, it was around the same time as Troll Hunter. And I feel like
Mm,
that was like a real popular 1-2 punch, like to
hmm.
watch foreign horror movies was to watch Troll Hunter. Because even my wife, when I said, "Oh, we're doing this one," she was like, "Oh, is that the one with all the trolls?" I was like, "You'd think,"
I mean,
because that's
kind in a
what
way.
we're watching. But yeah,
Yeah. No, I'd seen it then. I never went back and rewatched it because I figured like I just punched my ticket watching it that night, and so I was kind of happy when it got brought up to watch it again, and
the
was
only thing
delighted.
the only thing you remember was there was a kid, and you can't stand those uppity kids.
Actually, the only thing I remembered about the movie was the giant Santa encased in ice. So that
God,
was
I
kind of given away, but I didn't know
wish
the
we
rest
could have
of it.
seen that damn Santa. Um, well, I don't think there's much drama
This
in
is
this, and I don't think we need to do the 1, 2, 3 countdown. Uh,
No,
did you
uh,
guys have anything else you wanted to get to with rare
uh,
exports?
I just if you haven't seen Rare Exports, you should watch it, especially around Christmas time. It's a
Yeah,
great little Christmas horror movie.
yep, I loved it. Definitely better than Jack Frost. Jack Frost, I think, is unanimously eating the buckle
mm-hmm.
this week.
I can't tell you how upset I am that we have to watch it again though, because even though it's probably what an hour and a half long, it feels like about 4.5
Hour
hours long.
hour 28.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As an owner of the movie, that last 3 minutes is always like a surprise if you get through it or you even get.
Yeah. Oof, God. So what is it going up against next week? We will be watching Christmas Evil. Christmas Evil.
All right.
So just like rare exports, I think we're finished.
Oh.
Save some room for next week, folks, because you're gonna eat the buckle.
All right. Buckle buddies. See you next time.
Au revoir.
Somebody remember to put out the cat.